So with that being said, I'll go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Hannah Khouri. I'm the Director of Product Marketing here at Ottimate. One of my main focuses throughout my career in SaaS has really been understanding how artificial intelligence can be strategically integrated to drive success and how you can leverage it to speed up workflows and improve insights. As we all know, advancements in artificial intelligence, it's moving faster than ever, which means that we have a really exciting opportunity to find creative ways to unearth critical data so that you and your teams have something better than before to action on. It also means that the expertise of AP teams who live with these invoices every single day is more critical than ever. I'm of the mindset that artificial intelligence can help replace some repetitive tasks, and it does a really amazing job of amalgamating insights for you. But its real power lies in how teams can use this information to better understand how it can be leveraged to move a business forward. So today, we're going to dive into a critical question for any finance team. Can you truly trust every single invoice that you pay? As we all know, invoices are constantly moving through our AP process, always at different stages. But as your business grows, so does volume. So it makes it hard to stay confident that every single invoice is accurate and that they don't contain any errors that can cost your business. So before we dive in too deeply, we're going to go ahead and start with a quick poll. Has your organization uncovered a risky invoice or accidentally overpaid on an invoice at any point in the past year? Go ahead, throw your answers into the poll. We'll see what we come back with. All right, so I'm seeing some answers rolling in here. Unsurprisingly, it sounds like some of you guys have dealt with this at some point fairly recently. And that's not necessarily abnormal whatsoever. Earlier this year, we actually had the opportunity to um, 90% of you said that you've dealt with this in the past year. Not surprising at all. Earlier this year, we did run a survey with mid-market finance teams to learn more about their state of AP maturity today and what challenges they're facing. And 41% of those organizations that we surveyed reported finding risky invoices or overpaying on an invoice at some point this year. Only 4% of the businesses that we surveyed reported having fully automated their accounts payable process. And we often see a correlation between those who have automated their AP and how costly errors end up being to resolve. With invoice volume growing as businesses scale, mistakes, risks, overpayment, they're simply outpacing manual safeguards. And I can likely guarantee that if we asked how many of those teams uncovered some sort of invoice error over the past year, that number would be 100%. I'm sure you guys are dealing with that every single day. Human error is natural. Oftentimes, errors aren't necessarily nefarious, but with improvements to AI, we're also seeing an increase in AI generated invoices or other concerning actions that are able to be taken. So we need to pay attention to those to make sure that we're keeping the business safe. Teams are being asked to do more with less. Oftentimes, they're being asked to do more and more as a business scales, but you're not always adding additional headcount to make it happen. You're expected to process invoices faster at near perfect accuracy and provide strategic insights to make sure that the company can continue to grow. And this evolving role for AP teams is complicated by the fact that most only have partially automated accounts payable processes, meaning that there are natural points where errors can get overlooked or slip through the cracks. Most teams are doing manual checks as invoices come in for duplicates, for data errors, or maybe just getting a gut check on whether or not an invoice looks fraudulent. Invoice data is coded, it's mapped to relevant GLs, teams are performing two or three-way matching, maybe they're calculating price variances, ensuring that invoices are approved to be paid, getting payments to vendors, reconciling, getting ready for an audit, all in a quick turnaround time to ensure that vendors stay happy, so they're getting paid in the right time, and that businesses have up-to-date, actionable financials. And no matter how perfect a team functions, there are so many potential points in this process where an error can be overlooked, a duplicate invoice can make it through, or maybe just an outside interruption in your day-to-day can cause some sort of small oversight. And these costs, they're oftentimes hidden, but they can be massive. On average, we uncover 1.7 mil per year in duplicate invoices alone. According to IOFM, for mid-market companies, correcting a single error on an invoice, it can cost a business an average of $53. which when I uncovered that, that seems incredibly high, but it makes a lot of sense, right? There's a lot of manpower behind going through these invoices and making sure that everything is captured accurately. So let's build this out a little bit. Over half of our mid-market finance teams that we surveyed earlier this year said that they're processing 5,000 invoices or more every single month. At a 10% invoice rate, or sorry, at a 10% error rate, you can assume about 500 potentially costly mistakes every single month. The best AP managers out there, we know this, they've got a knack for knowing just when something feels off in their data. But if you're looking at thousands upon thousands of invoices, errors become more of a when, not an if. And no matter how good you are at looking and finding these errors or noticing that something may be wrong, likely something will still slip through the cracks. So if we assume that each mistake costs $53 to correct, that's a cost of $26,500 to the business every single month. And this happens because disconnected systems and manual processes make it nearly impossible to spot issues that are hidden deep within a high invoice volume, a high volume data set. All right, so in order to help overcome some of these challenges that you guys are facing on a daily basis, we've developed out an invoice trust score. It's an AI-powered capability. It's designed to help your team catch issues and unusual invoices before they ever reach the payment stage. So by using Trust Score, your team can start triaging invoices smarter, and you don't necessarily need to review everything manually. You can prioritize reviews on the invoices that actually need attention. This will help reduce common errors that manual reviews overlook and flag risks to help really ensure that you're able to scale better. It's all about improving accuracy and efficiency so that your team has total confidence over every single invoice that you're processing. You can see this in a couple spots. You can see it in your approvals tab, where we just have a high-level overview of what that invoice trust score is. And you can also see it directly on the invoice itself. And it's designed to provide you with the information that you need to be able to determine what those next steps should be. So let's take a look at what this looks like on the invoice detail screen. As you can see in the upper right-hand corner of the invoice detail screen, it's got a trust score. You can hover over this to get a little bit deeper of an understanding of why an invoice is coded the way that it is. It's going to be pulling from all of your historical invoices to better understand who you're receiving invoices from, how much they're for, preferred upload methods, payment methods, everything that you would need to see to figure out whether or not something feels off or whether it's ready to go ahead and be paid. This also means that it gets smarter over time. So the more that you upload, the more information that we have to make this more accurate for you. We have three options. It can either be a low, a medium, or a high trust score. If an invoice has a high trust score, it's likely from a known vendor, uploaded from a typical medium. It's from an amount that you see. Maybe you get the exact same invoice month over month over month. Nothing has changed. We expect it to come in the way that it has. That would be a high trust score invoice. If it's in the high trust score phase, oftentimes you can just auto approve it and send it straight through to payment without wasting your team's time to review it. That's what Automate is here for, right? Let us take that work off of your plates. On the other hand, if an invoice has a low trust score, it could be from a brand new vendor. It could be through an odd upload mesh method. It could be from an unusual amount. Some of that really just indicates that we just don't have enough historical data to be able to give it a high trust score. But oftentimes, it's calling out that something just feels off in the same way that your best AP manager would be able to do. For these invoices, we recommend that you get additional eyes on it before we pass it straight through to payment. All right, so how do we calculate this score? Our AI is looking at several critical signals. I have most of them at a high level up here. We're looking at history. So we're analyzing vendor or sender history alongside historical coding patterns to understand better if this is something that we've seen before and we're used to it. We're looking at consistency. So we look for amount consistency and anomalies, as well as any invoice date irregularities, or anything of that nature. We're looking at behaviors, so we'll flag first time or unusual behaviors, missing or inconsistent data. Any of that can be flagged. That will lower the trust score. We're also looking at your digital footprint, so we'll analyze the upload source and specific document signals to better understand whether or not you can trust that invoice. This way, we can let you know in advance if an invoice is ready to be paid or if it needs a little extra attention to ensure that there are no errors. Our main goal here is to help take work off of your plates, but make sure that you're able to be more of a strategic partner with your business. We'll help you triage invoices smarter, reduce errors that are oftentimes overlooked by manual review. We can flag risks. We can prioritize review on the invoices that truly need it, help you improve accuracy and efficiency throughout your day-to-day, and really improve your ability to scale the business without necessarily having to add additional headcount. As we all know, account payable teams, you guys are being asked to do more and more, but team sizes aren't always growing at the same rate. So that means that teams need to be smart about where they're spending their time and smart about how they view their roles as front lines of the organization's cash flow visibility. All right, well, that's all we have time for today. We didn't want to take too much of your time up on a Friday afternoon, but we wanted to give you a quick little overview of Invoice Trust Score and hopefully get your team excited to try it out and see how it can help reduce some of your time spent on manual review. As a reminder, smarter invoice verification is about giving your team the tools to identify mistakes, duplicates, and suspicious activity before they become costly errors that can just impact the business way down the line. So we'll send out this recording shortly. And thank you all for joining us today.